Okay, so welcome everyone. We'd like to thank you for joining us this afternoon. Today's Zoom presentation with Backroads. So thanks for taking the time out of your day. We appreciate you joining us. So far this year, we've taken you to Japan, South Africa, the Galapagos, and Antarctica. So tonight, we're not going to take you to a specific destination, but we're going to open you up to a specific type of travel: adventure travel, active travel, with solos, couples, families, multi-generation, a lot of options, a lot of destinations and countries and experiences to enjoy. So with us tonight, we have Lee from Backroads, and Backroads is one of our primary active travel vendors. So I will send it over to Lee. He'll give a quick introduction and we'll get going on the presentation.
Great. Thank you for the introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Lee. I work here with Backroads Travel. I joined the company a couple months ago. I'm joined here by my colleague Hannah. She's going to sit off to the side, but will help if there's any other questions. Hannah and I essentially are helping with our travel advisor community. So we're working with all of our top travel agencies and agent partners to really help provide a seamless customer service experience, making sure that all trips and the booking process run smoothly, helping to answer any questions. So for those of you that are guests here on the call, you are in great hands with Gateway Travel, and we just want to be able to present our product, give you a little insight into what we've been up to the past year or so, and our outlook for the future. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, have a presentation to run through. If I could just ask to start that everyone put your microphones on mute. If you have any questions, then definitely take yourself off. I will leave about 5 or 10 minutes at the end to go ahead and answer any questions, and I'll be sure to write those all down. If there's any that I can't answer in the moment, please don't worry. Be sure to get back to you as soon as possible.
Yeah. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat box. We'll be monitoring them, and then we can always hopefully answer them at the time. So I'm going to send the control over to you, Lee. Just keep an eye, if you can, on the weight room. I'll lose control in the weight room, so just in case.
I'll definitely keep an eye on.
I'll send it over to you, and you're now the host.
All right. So to start off, welcome again. So Backroads partnering with Gateway Travel, and part of our offering is traveling actively. So we really emphasize putting in kind of that active part to your vacation. We really want you to enjoy the finer things such as hotels, experiences, and amenities. But a big part of our trip is taking advantage of the outdoors, seeing new destinations via biking, hiking, whether that's paddling, rafting. We also offer small cruises as well. So what's great about Backroads, it's a very wide array of offering. And we really recommend that you speak with your agent to really focus on the best part of our product for you. Again, my name is Lee Sasson. I'm our travel advisor program manager for the Eastern US, but helping with most of the country as well. My colleague Hannah is on the call. She's representing the Eastern US, and then we are working with Alicia, who is our team manager. Maybe many of you have worked with KC in the past. Fortunately, KC is no longer with the business. She's moved on to go traveling and spend more time with her family. But you are in good hands with our team, and we're really looking forward to working with everybody. So here is a photo of our founder and president, Tom Hale. He founded the company over 40 years ago. We're headquartered out of Berkeley, California, and so here on the West Coast. But Tom is still very involved with the company, active. He's in the office every day. He actually bikes from Marin County to the office every day. So he's very active, he's very involved. It's great that he has such a firm presence in the business, and it really helps maintain a lot of the service and consistency that Backroad is known for. I'm going to go ahead and just play a short video for you. This is really to just encapsulate what Backroads is all about.
When I think about what the benefit is of traveling actively, it's just so much more real, more authentic. You're part of the world you're in, and it just feels good.
Backroads gives guests an opportunity to not only experience what lies beyond the cities and literally on the back roads, you go further through the eyes of your leaders who explain to you the significance of places that lie far beyond the guidebooks.
One of my favourite things about the Backroads experience has been immersing in the local culture. Every time we stop for lunch, we're visiting a local company where the produce is all locally grown and the wine and the drinks.
Everyone who comes on a Backroads trip is different and they have a different story to them, and some may be very avid cyclists and hikers and others maybe not.
I don't cycle much at all, really, but this was a really great way to see the country.
We've been cycling for 30 years, so sometimes it's really not about the bike. It's about, the greatest thing in the world is to stop the bike, get off and start talking to somebody and say, do you speak English? And they say no. You go, oh, this is going to be great.
I feel like you can see the world from here.
We have everything planned for you. So we have thought of the best routes for you, we have the best hotels for you, and we are there to support you.
The level of organization and support is unbelievable. He can do his thing and I can do mine, and we can meet up at the end of the day, and we both had exactly the day we want.
You don't have to keep asking the leaders for things because whatever you need and want is already done. It's all ready to go.
The leaders are grace under pressure. It's flawless, it's seamless. You know they're working super hard on the back end to make it special, to make it exciting, and to have that sort of surprise and delight moment at every turn.
My mom had been on a Backroads tour in France 10 years ago, and she never stops talking about it. What we wanted to find was a place that my dad, who's not as much of an athlete, could also get museums and culture and history and all of what he was looking for, and so she can go do those long rides.
We've been with some other companies before too, and they don't come up to it. They don't come up to the Backroads standards, and that's why we keep coming back.
This is now our third trip, and we love it.
These are my favorite mountains in the whole world! Woo!
Backroads is really awesome because you know you're going to see the best there is, and you're going to be comfortable and happy doing it.
You cannot script this. You have to experience it. This is about life and enjoying every minute of it.
Beautiful. Well, I hope that got everyone just as I got jazzed up to travel, and I know we're all missing travel quite a lot. So hopefully we'll all get back out there. So Backroads works globally in 65 countries on 4 continents all throughout the year. What's really nice is that these trips are tailored to the destination. We have trip leaders and experts that go through each country, really planning out the fine details, all the routing, the hotels, where the activities take place. It's all pre-planned in advance, so that way once guests are on the trip, it's smooth sailing and you're there just to go along for the ride. For Backroads travelers, I think one thing that may throw people off at times is the active portion of these trips. It's really important to note that we offer trips for all ages and experience levels. So we offer trips for groups of friends or individual couples, for families, solo travelers. One thing that I really like about Backroads is that there's certainly a social element to these trips. And so most of our trips accommodate between 16 and 20 people. If and when you're looking for certain trips, we have the ability to look at the guest lists and give you an idea of who else may be traveling. And so if you're a guest or you are, say, a single woman in your 60s and you want to go on a trip that has other single women on it as well, we can look for that. If you're a group of friends who really want to make sure that there's some other like-minded individuals on the trip, we can take a look at those things. And so we really want to cater to all groups and levels. And I think the other thing that's really important is that our trips are we have certain levels as far as difficulty. So one being the easiest, five being the most difficult. And so when searching or working with your agent on trips, be sure to inquire what is the level of the trip, because if you're very active, you might want a level 4. If you're not as active, then we can look for maybe a level 1 or 2 for you. For families, we offer a few different options. So we have the teens and kids, older teens and 20s, and then 20s and beyond. It's important to note that we do not accept children younger than 4 on our group trips. If you do have children that are younger than 4, you would have to essentially book a private trip. So private trips, which are certainly possible, do accommodate all ages, but then we do have for families kind of this tier structure, and it really helps again when pairing groups and trips to really make sure that those traveling are getting the most out of it. Right, and then really again something for everyone. We do biking, hiking, and walking. We do multi-adventure, which includes rafting or horseback riding. So really when looking at our trips, it's not a one size fits all. It's really important to take a look at the detail, understand what's being offered, and really finding the best trip that's for you. So starting with biking, this is certainly our most popular and how the company was founded and brought to be. So we have a fleet of over 7,000 bikes globally. We have a range of bikes, and so for more information on that, definitely speak with your agent, but we do have a range of bicycles that are available for use. We have a standard bike, we have a more racing style bike, and then for trips based on request, we do have e-bikes as well. And so e-bikes are great because it gives you that extra little boost. Also, I have a slide later on, but when we do biking and some of our other trips, we do have multiple routes that are built into the trip. So if you may want to bike 30 or 40 miles a day, there's that option. If you are more in the mid-range, you want to do maybe 20 miles with not as many elevation changes, we have a route there as well. And then there's normally an easier route on each day. And so depending on how you feel when you wake up, you can work with your trip leader, to kind of pick which route is the best for you for that day. We also offer walking and hiking trips. So these are great if you prefer feet on the ground, really doing some beautiful hiking, walking. Again, you can choose more paved paths when, depending on the trip, of course, but more easier walking. Maybe one day you want to do more of a difficult trail or hike to a certain peak. We can really work with you and your guests to go ahead and make that happen. And then for multi-adventure, this is really a great way if you're traveling with a larger group or a family and you know that everybody's maybe on a different wavelength. We can incorporate different aspects within the trip as well. So you can see we can do skiing or snowshoeing, zip lining, kayaking, rafting, horseback riding. And so these multi-adventure trips, again, are a great way if you want to kind of mix it up each day and not just stick to one activity throughout the trip. All right, and then travel in the US. So this is really great, especially during the time of COVID, really enabling guests to explore more of our backyard. So we work in 21 states, all throughout the United States. And another great thing is we work in 22 national parks. What Backroads does is we tend to block out availability in our hotels or lodges 2 to 3 years in advance. So when booking with Backroads, you know that you're guaranteed a spot to get in these national parks, as well as having the ability to really embrace them, see them from a different perspective, and enjoy them to the fullest. And so definitely keep this in mind, especially over the next, say, 6 to 12 months as travel continues to open and develop. Definitely keep that in mind. We are saying that, if you're interested in traveling next spring, definitely book as soon as possible. And we are seeing that our trips are filling up. If you are interested to travel over the next, say, 3 to 6 months, many of the trips are filling up, but we still would love for you to inquire with us and just double check. We do have changes that come up, maybe a cancellation, or we have the ability on certain popular trips, if it's flexible, we may be able to add more hotel rooms to that trip. So please do keep us in mind, and we'd love to work with everyone to find the best trip for you. All right. And then we also offer, in addition to that physical activity that you're doing for either half a day or a little bit more, we do offer a lot of experiential and cultural experiences. And so we can offer cooking classes, music and dancing, history tours. There's plenty of time to enjoy the spa and relaxing on the property. What's great with these group trips as well is that you can connect with your fellow travelers. And so we do have free evenings where maybe you want to go into town as a small group or just stay back with a few, and get to know each other. And then there's a lot of cultural activity in that as well. And so I believe I have a slide on our trip leaders, but our trip leaders really act as a guide in the sense, more than likely they're local, they've lived or have been to this destination many times, and so really can show you kind of off the beaten path or a little bit more interesting than just your standard tour. And then we take care of all the details. So most of our trips are 6 days, 5 nights. So they run about the course of a week. Many of the options are included in the trip, as including your hotels, your meals, having your trip leaders as guides, all the equipment, activities, the hotel and restaurant gratuities. What's not included is in our trip, and this is really where Gateway would be able to help in with some additional offerings for you, and that would be airfare to and from the destination, transfers once you arrive into the country, and then if you do want to stay in the country or a little bit longer pre or post the trip, we can definitely, you can work with Gateway to help kind of get that all organized for you. And again, we want to make sure that this is as seamless as possible. So all the planning is done in advance. So that way, once you land, you are just there to enjoy the ride. So our trip leaders, this is really, I would say, the bread and butter of our business. We employ several thousand trip leaders around the world. All trip leaders are Backroads employees. So we do not outsource to any third party our guides and trip leaders. All trip leaders are trained on an annual basis for our service standards, customer service, trip planning, making sure that we've really checked off all the various angles for each destination and know all the routing backwards and forwards. On all our trips as well, we have normally it's 3 leaders and 2 vans. So there you have a photo. The vans are really great because what they do is they enable a bit of flexibility during these trips. And so normally what will happen is one van will go ahead to the next part, get things set up, whether that's a lunch or snack or drinks, maybe a wine tasting. And the other van will stay along and follow the group as they ride or walk or hike. And so if you, for instance, are feeling a little fatigued and you want to jump in the van, you can be taken to the next spot. If you wanted to leave some belongings perhaps in the van for safekeeping, they can watch that for you. If you wanted to, just rest or relax for a moment, or you may decide, I want to go back to the hotel. I've had enough for the day. We have that flexibility. So really the combination of the leaders and the vans is what makes this a very high touch point experience where we want to offer that service and make sure that you're being taken care of throughout the entire time. So this just goes back to what I said for kind of the different levels throughout the trip. So we really kind of focus on that, your pace, your priorities. And so we do give options each and every day. So there'll be an easier route, a more active route, and then an avid route for those who really want to seize the day and cycle that mountaintop or just take advantage of perhaps more stunning views. But this is customizable each and every day. And so we want to make sure, again, that all guests feel supported and they're not being maybe pushed to do something they don't want, or they may be pushed that extra step to say, you know what, today I am going to go and ride an extra 10 miles because I'm feeling really good and I want to make sure I get to see a certain site or point during the trip. And then we also do private and custom trips. So again, most of our group trips are about 16 to 20 guests, but private and custom trips are great for birthdays, graduations, family gatherings, anniversaries. And what we do with these private trips is we essentially allow guests to take a date that has been scheduled in the calendar, but that does not have any guests enrolled in it. So you may look in 2022, see a trip in June that you really like. If there's no one signed up, you can take that over for your group, your private group. It is a minimum of 8 individuals. And then once you hit the 10 guest mark, that's when all the costing actually balances out. So it's no additional money if you have 10 or more guests. If it's just 8, there is a little bit of a premium, but again, you're getting a fully private and customized trip. So definitely keep this in mind, for future events or gatherings with family and loved ones. It's a great option and a big part of our business as well. All right. And then something we just introduced about a year and a half ago is called Dolce Tempo. We took a lot of feedback from guests who were really looking for more of a relaxing and cultural experience. And so these Dolce Tempo trips are much more easygoing. The activities are a bit more relaxed. It's normally maybe just a morning's worth of activity. And then for the rest of the day, you'd either be free to relax or go to the spa. You can do soft walks or bikes or any of the experiences we have to offer. So anyone maybe with mobility issues or slightly older in age that really wants to go on one of our trips, but doesn't maybe have the ability to go, really active, this is definitely a great option. And we do offer these trips in most of the countries that we work in. So really great option. And if anyone wants more information in the future, let us know. We can provide that. And then we also offer weekend and 4-day getaways. So again, our trips run 6 days, 5 nights. These are really great if you can't get away for a full week, but you do want to do a long weekend or just a 4-day getaway. We offer these in North America. And so these would include trips such as California wine country, hiking in Vermont. I do have a couple slides, and I'm going to play just another short video to show you a little bit of our California experience.
Backroads has made it so easy, and there's options for everything. The lunches, the places, little wineries where we've stopped have been beautiful.
Keith is trying to join. And so just on that note, I do want to highlight too, we offer trips for different levels of accommodation. So we offer casual trips and then premier trips. The casual trips are a little bit more rustic or casual accommodation, normally three or 4 star. And then our premier trips are 4 or 5 star level properties. A lot of Relais and Chateau properties that have amazing Michelin star restaurants. It's really great for hoteliers out there that really want to experience certain properties in the country. But again, if the hotels weren't as important, we have a casual option as well, which the hotels are beautiful and offer incredible service, but they're going to be more in that 3 or 4 star level. And so here's our California Dreaming. We do have Hannah, I believe she's there on the right, jumping up. So you get a picture of her. But this is just to offer some of our trips. We do wine country up in Northern California, Santa Barbara, and Ojai. And then we also offer a long weekend trip in Death Valley. And then another one that we offer, which is beautiful, is the Vermont Rolling Hills. So this you travel throughout parts of Vermont, especially in the fall. It's absolutely beautiful. You get a lot of that fall foliage. And then we'll do various lunches, activities with maple syrup, and just really getting that. And then one of the last things to touch on, we do also offer active ocean and river cruises. So we partner with a couple different cruising companies. And what we do is either small ship river cruise or more of a larger ship proper cruise. What's really nice and how you can consider these trips is that the ship or boat essentially takes place of the hotel on the trip. So it is a backroads trip. You're doing all the backroads activities, adventures, different hikes or walks, and then at the end of each day, you're essentially going back to the ship to relax for the evening. A lot of times the Backroads team will follow along with the van, so they'll have all the bikes, everything on the ground, following the ship on the river, and will meet you in the next spot. For the larger cruises, the bikes are actually brought on board. And so this is we have some really good trips that combine. I know we combine one where there's, I believe, Italy and Croatia. So you can spend some time in Italy, then take a small ship over to Croatia and kind of continue the journey. So it's really a great option, again, for those looking for a little bit of a different experience, and maybe you really have always wanted to do a river cruise and now you want to add a slightly more active element to it. This would definitely be a great fit for you. All right, and then last but not least, just why book with Gateway Travel and Backroads. So really coming to both Backroads and Gateway for our expert insider knowledge. We have over 1,000 adventures to choose from, and it's really important to find the best trip for you. So talk to your agent, talk with Backroads. We will really look to cater and find the best options for you and when you're able to travel. So again, included with the Backroads trips, you have your hotel, meals, trip leaders, equipment, etc. And Gateway will be a great asset for you in booking your airfare, your transfers, and any pre or post hotel accommodations that you may need, and any additional extras if you wanted to book other activities outside of that window as well. So please speak to your Gateway Travel agent. If you have any questions, you can let us know as well. And we hope to welcome you on a trip in the future. So thank you so much for your time. I'll open it now for a few minutes of questions. And so I'm not sure if it's best I pass it back to Dave, or I can keep control and just answer questions accordingly.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to pass it back, I'll take the control back. Well, we had a couple questions come in, which I believe you answered most of them. But on the private trips, can you alter the itinerary? Are you stuck with the preset itineraries?
So, yes, I believe you are set with the itinerary. There is the ability to have some communications prior, and I can definitely find out a little more and see what the customization level is for the private trips. But more or less, they do follow kind of an existing pattern. And I do know that we offer completely customized trips. I can get more detail on what that would entail. If someone wanted to build more of their own trip, we can do that as well. But for the private trips, you would essentially take a pre-existing date.
Okay. Right. The second question was hotel options, and I believe you touched on that. Does every trip have options for different category or quality hotel?
So the trips themselves are titled essentially either casual or premier. So you'll want to look into that when choosing the trip. A lot of the destinations, if we offer several trips for that destination, it might alter. So one set of dates may be more premier hotel, the next set of dates may be a more casual hotel. I do know that the hotels are pre-selected. If someone wanted to change or stay in a different property, we might just have to look into that and see if we would be able to. But Backroads does have partnerships and contracts with a lot of the hotels we work with. And so we would look to go to those properties first, but we could always look for other consideration if needed.
Lee, can you tell us a little bit about e-bikes?
Of course. So e-bikes are an option for all of our trips. They just have to be requested in advance.
So
We are seeing
a
what's
cost,
that?
an extra cost?
No additional cost. The only time they're an additional cost, I believe there are a handful of trips that maybe, but I know for the majority, let's say 95% of our trips, as long as they're requested in advance and we have the availability, e-bikes are complimentary. One thing I've been hearing, just ear to the ground working with our team, is that we are seeing an influx of requests for North America biking trips with e-bikes, and so we're currently really working hard to accommodate every request. But I know it's been difficult for the team because normally, so for instance, in 2019 we did a lot of U.S. sale, but we've noticed for 2021 already the requests have doubled, and so that's obviously because of the pandemic, and so it is on request, but we do everything we can to meet that request for our guests at no extra charge.
Okay, Dave, any more?
Yeah, there was the Dulce trips. Are they mainly focused in Europe?
Mainly focused in Europe, but that was kind of where the concept began, but we do also offer them in other parts of the world. And so those trips will focus a bit more on visiting cultural sites. They're really good for anyone who's maybe really big into museums, wanting to see different popular sites that they may have missed on a more active, proper active trip. This would give a slower pace, a slower tempo to be able to kind of explore and do activities more and what they want.
Okay. And can you bring your own bicycle?
So you can bring your own bike. I know that has come up from time to time. I do believe you have to, you have to ship it there essentially or travel with it. I don't believe Backroads provides the means to get the bike to the trip. But yes, if you'd like to bring your own bike, you can. We do have several different biking options, so I would encourage any guests on the call to speak with your individual agent who can provide you more detail on the bikes, because Tom Hale, who is our founder, is a very avid cyclist, and so a lot of time and effort has gone into selecting the bikes that we use for our trips. And so I would highly recommend going with those, but if someone is very adamant they want to bring their own, that's fine as well.
Okay. And are you related to Vidal? Is that Neil?
I wish.
Did
I
Neil put
wish.
that one in there?
I am not, but I have been asked that before, and I used to answer that I wouldn't be here if I was, but I do enjoy Backroads, and so I would be here, but no.
Well, Lee, I have to compliment your company on how they handled our clients like during the situation, because no one has lost any of their deposits or their money on the trips. Everyone was allowed to move it to another date and even continue it on for whatever. It's always connected to your name, and I think that's a great accolades to your company to stand by
Thank
what
you.
you do.
Yeah, we're in a fortunate position, and even for me joining, I mean, we have about a 75 to 80% retention ratio. So guests who go on one Backroads trip normally come back again and again. And I think that really speaks to the detail that goes into the trip. And the trip leaders, I think they're always highly praised. I'm reading through reviews regularly, and I noticed that always the trip leaders are complimented, and it's a very high quality. But it's at a price point, I think, that is affordable for most. And so many people can take advantage of this beautiful way of traveling. And we've really seen that it's very, it used to be more of an outlier trip. Not everyone thought in this realm, but I think with COVID and just the past couple years, really spending more time outdoors, being active, focusing on health and fitness, it's been great. And so we're really happy that trend is continuing. So thank you for the compliments, and hopefully anyone else that comes on a trip in the future, we can continue to wow them.
Well, Dave, if you don't have anything else, I want to thank everyone who's on call and who has joined us for our past webinars. We really appreciate you coming and joining us. And Gateway's always here for you whenever you're ready to go. We're ready to help you. We are taking a little break in August, enjoying the summer, but we'll be back in September with Australia and in October with New Zealand. So we'll be sending you out a link to join us again, and we hope you do. Enjoy the rest of the summer. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Gateway Travel. We appreciate you. And we look
Thanks,
forward to
Lee.
working together
Very
more.
nice presentation. Thank you.
All right. If anyone needs anything, let us know.